That's right. Ahead of this meeting, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had appealed to G20 leaders to come to some consensus as the world was looking at the G20 for direction. I also caught up with OECD's Sherpa to the G20, Andreas Schaal, and Oman's Sherpa to the G20, Pankaj Khimji, about their priorities. They spoke about the need for consensus on food and energy security, resilient supply chains, and also the green hydrogen roadmap for the world.
I think India's presidency has highlighted very well the priorities: food security, energy security. I would maybe add inflation and high indebtedness, which is an issue we discussed last week in the G20 Finance Ministers meeting in Bengaluru. So the focus here on food security and on energy security and on the skills for the people for development is a very important one.
Andres, have we really reached a satisfactory outcome as far as the debt resolution in some of the developing and emerging economies go?
I mean, I think the finance ministers made big progress last week. I mean, there is this global debt initiative which is already underway since 1 year, and there was further progress made under India's presidency last week, and so we are not yet there because the problem is continue to be there, but we make big inroads.
Okay. Now, coming to the global tensions that we are seeing right now, how the communique could not be agreed upon in the finance track meeting, do you think the tension between the G7 and Russia and China on one side could really slow down any progress or be a hurdle in any kind of progress that G20 can make?
I mean, we are living in complex times, and it's good that both the Indonesian and the Indian presidency keep the G20 as a group intact, that there is a continued conversation and discussion. And I mean, no matter what you think about the war, which is one of the most terrible things for the world economy, this war of aggression against Ukraine, no matter what you think about it, it's very important that countries continue to talk and develop joint solutions. And for example, the issues we are discussing today, food security, is one of which where everybody around the table must have an interest to find common solutions. And I mean, the Black Sea Grain Initiative is one of those examples where countries who are in war together work together on a solution in order for the interest of the rest of the world.
We are at times where there's so much that has happened over the last 2 years that we are still grappling with getting back to normality. And in this day and age, it's only expected that you will have some amount of anxiety. There is a lot of dynamism, a lot of dynamics and energy flowing around, but all by and large, it's been a very progressive kind of dialogue in terms of what we want to attain. I think there is a unified talk in terms of your sustainable goals, your energy security, as far as food security is concerned. I think the voice is one. It's all about now what are the actions to kind of make sure that this is achieved.
Let me ask you about Oman's priorities. What are you hoping for? You're an invitee. Oman is an invitee to the G20. What is it hoping to see from the G20 countries?
See, we're very clear. You must understand, we come from an age, we have a legacy of the hydrocarbon growth story. We now need to move on to the next legacy or set the next ball rolling into the next future, and that is, I think, hydrogen, renewable energy, solar, wind. And we want to kind of make sure that the world is aligned on whether hydrogen is the fuel of the future. Is it going to be renewables? Is it going to be another form of carbon capture? Is it going to be the circular economy? I think it's going to be a mixture of all. And I think this is what we're here to kind of come and understand. Is the leading developed and developing countries aligned on that voice in terms of where energy goes, in terms of energy security? There's also the food security dialogue. I mean, as much as India is worried about its energy security, Oman is also worried about its food security. In that, we find India to be the perfect partner, because if we can lend a little bit of our energy to India, and they can lend a little bit of the food to us, we are a perfect match. So.
Right. My final question, if you have said that you would like to see some sort of roadmap, clarity on how the G20 will approach the green transition, the green hydrogen roadmap as well, one major geopolitical risk that everyone is talking about is the war right now. What is Oman's view on how this war will proceed and how it could impact the economy and how it should come to an end?
See, we very much believe that we believe in dialogue. I mean, we're pretty much tagging the same line, and I'm glad that India too is also of the belief that this area of dispute needs to be settled on a different platform, in a different closed environment, whereby the two nations, with or without the interlocutors, need to kind of sit down and thrash out the differences.
Right.
I don't think the G20 is the platform, and to be fair, G20 has always been not about politics, and let's keep it that way.
On that note, we will head into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We get you more news on the other side. Stay tuned.